So here's the deal. A couple people have been asking about how we make sign or letters and or even stars. So tonight we have to actually make a handful of stars for a prom celebration. So what I wanted to show you is what we'll go through the whole thing. We'll just take a lot of time. Well, not a lot of time. You know what I'm saying. All right. So you're going to use your star, this is the big one, as the actual stencil. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on this piece of corrugated plastic. And remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but I told you to get frog tape. Hold on. Got a little clutter in here. It's been a little busy. All right. So if you don't know what frog tape is, this is the most expensive, but the greatest painter's tape that you can get. I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. All right. Hi, how can I help you?
I just want to give you a hug.
Okay, well wait, I'm in the middle of something, all right? All right. Hey, everybody wants to be on YouTube. All right, so I used the frog tape. I put it down here. All right, now I'm gonna pick this up. I understand it's been a little shaky and it's not ideal. So here we go. All right, so we got this right here like this. All right, that way it's not gonna move. It's not gonna move around. And then all I do is I take a pencil and I outline it. So see if I can do it while I got this camera here. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I might have also told you before, but very quickly, that it's super important that you have the vertical lines and horizontal lines matched up. All right, because this is where your steak's going to go. Right. So in this case, when I made this one, it's not going to be perfect. And what I mean by that is if I put my steaks here, it's going to be angled. So it's going to look a little bit different. Right. So then what you do now is you take off the tape. And then to make your straight lines, you're going to take your ruler, right? And you just connect the lines. All right. So I'll make this a more detailed edited video and go through it in a lot more step-by-step process. So now we've traced. All right. So now that we've got our letters all traced out, we want to make sure that we cut everything in a straight line. So the last time we had connected, I had told you that you needed to get a carpenter square. And absolutely, that's perfect. But there's also something that's even better. It's called a T-square. Now this thing's long, all right? It's really long. But here's the great thing about it, is that when you put it up against something, it's got a lip. So when I anchor it against the plastic, all right, and I'll show you in just a second, it has an edge that it will catch, all right? So now you can run a straight line, okay? So I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna set up the camera and show you how I can do that so that it makes sense. I don't have a camera helper here to help me because they're all playing tag because they're busy playing and not working. But we'll figure it out. So hang tight while I reset this back up, and we'll use this T-square to show you how to cut this stuff. All right, now that we have the T-square set up and anchored, okay? Well, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a razor knife and we're gonna set up our line, okay? Because we want to use the T-square. Basically what this T-square is used for, it's used for cutting drywall, like the drywall in your house, all right? So we're gonna use it to cut out this star, and then you'll see what we do next. I gotta get my razor knife, hold on. Hey, raise your knife. All right, so we got this thing anchored. Hopefully you can see it. And what you want to do is you want to line up exactly on the line. All right? So, and what you want to do is you want to push in. By the way, I'll tell you what I got under this thing. All right? So you push in. This should be lined up again. All right? You push in and then push off the actual T-square. So basically what you're doing is you're really lining this thing up as you're moving it across. Kind of like that, so that you're cutting it straight. All right? That's what you want. Now, for this next cut, you can just turn it. The other thing that I want you to understand is this is a ping pong table. All right, so under this, is where we play ping pong. But what I have under here is some cardboard, like any type of cardboard that you would get from like Amazon or something like that. You know what I mean? Let's flip this over. No, so we'll do it that way. All right, so we're gonna set up this T-square this way. All right, so you got it lined up. You guys see the lines? All right, so you want to push on this, push in, anchor, pull. Pull down. I think that's as far as it's supposed to go. Now this, because I know I don't have any more runway here, I'm just going to push this one down and come all the way through. All right, so we got that one done. So let me anchor this way. All right, so we got that going on. So we'll get this one, push, come all the way down through. All right, push, come all the way down, and make sure you know where to stop. All right. Look, it's not going to be perfect every time, and if you wanted to go a little bit slower, you should actually. But because of the sake of this video, I want to get it done actually pretty quickly. So anchor it up on the plastic behind me. Push. Pull. All right, and we'll do another push, pull. Okay. Do you guys remember yesterday when I did the how you clean a sign video, where we're talking about millennials not working? Hey, everybody's playing tag outside. Push all the way down. You're pushing through a 1/4 inch of plastic, remember. All right, and then we got this one over here. All right, here we go. How about that? That's pretty good, right? Hey, you guys do know I'm working in here, right? What is going on? All right, so we got that thing going right here. And this was the template that we used. So let's see if she matches up nice. Hey, not bad, right? It's not bad. I think that's pretty good. All right, now, the other thing that I want to show you guys is, and I'll take this off camera so you don't have to sit around and watch me do this. But if you look at the outline, by the way, don't use degreaser on your letters, on your stars, all right? So this is your ruler. Everybody knows what a 1/4 inch is? We'll start with the 2. That's a 1/4 right there. So now, if we measure it, well, would you look at that? So that's a little bit more than a 1/4 inch. That's actually a 1/2 inch. You see that? You guys see that? Here. Where's the camera lens? All right. So it's a little bit more than a 1/2 inch. Right? So now what you want to do with this star is you want to line up your 1/2 inch. So if we start up on the 2 here, this is a 1/2 inch from here to here. So make a pencil mark right there. All right, and that's the way that you were going to set up our line. All right, hang on.
Now the summer's gone and December's here, and you're looking back at all the things you've done this year. It's cold outside, say it's gonna snow, so be thankful that you've somewhere warm to go. 'Cause when you stop to count your blessings, it's the little things.
All right, there we
Hey
go.
guys, could you help me with the folding table out front and fold it? Because I think that's how I pulled my bed when I opened it up by myself yesterday.
All right. I got to go install a sign, so we'll finish this later.
Well,
Go out, I'm going to spray paint this in this yellow. Let me just grab a yellow thing so you can kind of see. We'll see. You know, like we're not going to know unless we try it. So here is the Victory Store yellow, and here's like, man, I don't know, but look, I think at first glance, if you can't get what you need from them fast enough, this is a quick way of doing it. And hey, let's go spray paint this thing. I'll show you how you do it. All right, believe it or not, we're in the woods. We're still on my property. You can check it out. We actually made like a little walkway in the woods, and my wife put up lights. I don't know. All right. So let's do this. Let's put this right here. Okay. Cool. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how you want to spray paint this thing. Now remember, I said in the beginning, you want to make sure that you have your horizontal lines worked up. So these are stakes that we've used that actually have paint on them, so don't reuse them. Okay, here we go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it in the ground. All right, so it's a little windy out right now, but what you want to be aware of, with this Krylon stuff, is you really want to shake it up good. But you also want to be at least 12 inches away from this thing, because if you get too close, the spray is coming out at such a high rate that it will actually drip, and you do not want that. All right. Okay. All right, let's try it. Right? We're not going to know unless we try. All right. All right, here we go. So watch. Watch how this comes out. I mean, that comes out at a nice clip, right? And you want to come at it at least like 12 inches away so the mist covers it, and then you can get a little bit closer. Let's try it. All right, it's coming. All right, this is probably a little bit more matte. They say it's a satin. So there's different grades of paint, right? So you have a matte finish, which has got a little shine, or it has hardly any shine. Then you have a satin finish, which has got like a little bit more of a gloss to it. And then you have semi-gloss. Each manufacturer does it differently. For this one, I went with the satin. Something's going to tell me that this is not going to work as well as I want it to. But we're going to try it so that we know. All right, so I'm going to let this dry again and I'm going to hit it again. The other thing I want to point out too is because you have this thing taped off now, a 1/2 inch from each of the edges, when this thing dries, and this stuff dries pretty quickly, probably within like 15 minutes, dries in 10 minutes or less, okay? Then we're gonna have to strategically take it off. All right, I'm gonna hit it again for one more coat. Oh, let's do it together. I'm probably staying within like 12 inches. Listen, don't be afraid to unload on this thing. Now, if I got too close to it, I mean, look how far that sprays. I mean, it's like, that's probably spraying like 2 feet. So if you get real close to it, it's just gonna drip everywhere. And man, you do not want that. That'll end up being a complete cluster. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring this back to the shop or my garage, and then once it dries, I'm going to hit it with a clear. I'll show you what that does. All right, I get my tripod here. So I think this is dried. I honestly don't think it's going to be what we want, but this is the clear. All right, can you see that? And you're going to go through this a lot faster than you are your actual other paint. All right, so I'm going to hit the same way I did before. All right, that's good. I'm gonna let it dry, and then we'll take off all the frog tape, and then you'll understand why the frog tape is super important. All right, I hit it with the clear. Now, I don't think it's gonna match. I don't think it's gonna match at all. And I have 2 yellows, so I have this Krylon glossy sun yellow. Right? Which I think is not going to work. It's going to be too bright. Then we have high performance enamel from Rust-Oleum. It's professional, which means it's great. See, I even think that is too much. So you know what I'm going to do? The hell with it. I'm going to try. So one of the things you can, now we're getting professional, but I can use it because I have the professional grade. I probably wouldn't normally do this if I knew it was going to work. As a matter of fact, I know that I wouldn't, but because I don't know if it's going to work, I'm going to get a little creative. And what I'm going to say to you is that I'm going to spray this star much farther than I have, so that I can get a little bit of this brighter mist on there to see if it does anything. And you know what? I don't think you can actually see it that well. So let me get it a little bit closer. So you see that compared to that? Like the star, that matte you don't want. I can already tell you that matte is not going to work. All right? So don't get this color. Don't get satin meringue. That's not the right color. But because we're innovators here and we're entrepreneurs, and we're not afraid to take risks, because that's how this works, we're going to get after it. You're going to see it in live action right here. All right, so I'm going to go stake this thing, and then I'm going to hit it from a distance. You know what? Since you've already seen me actually spray, I'm not going to record it. I'm just going to hit this from a distance, and then I'll come back. All right, hold on. All right, I just hit it. It's still drying. What we can also do here too is we'll hit it with a hair dryer. It's still out, believe it or not. Hey, what do you know? The kids didn't put it back. I don't want to get paint on it. Let's speed up the drying process. I won't bore you with it. All right. It's been a little bit more than 15 minutes. So, here, look, I don't think our experiment was what we hoped for. This is the Victory Store yellow. All right. And this is the Rennick Morris yellow. All right. But I still don't think this is a bad idea. So this is definitely dry now. All right, so this is what I want to show you guys next. Because when you're going to Lowe's, and if you do decide to purchase the FROGTAPE, all right, you're going to ask yourself, what's up with Morris telling me I need to buy FROGTAPE that's like $3 more than the 3M? 3M is a publicly traded company. They make you know what I'm saying? So here's the reason why, and I hope that it works, all right? So we have tape on this. I want to get, I'll get a star in just a minute. But what you want to be really careful is when you pull this tape off, all right? FROGTAPE is so good, it shouldn't bleed, all right? But it might, and if it does, that's not a big deal, but let's try it. So, we're going to take an edge. All right? Look at that. Look at that. No bleeding. I'm telling you guys, the FROGTAPE is the way to go. There's no bleeding, all right? I mean, it just comes right off.
I need to get some.
All right, well, come get it. So you see how that's coming off? Do you want to say hi to my subscribers?
No thanks.
Why not? They're constantly asking about you. All right, hold on. No, you better stop and say hi.
Why'd you use the bright yellow? You were supposed to use pale yellow.
I did use the pale yellow. It didn't work. That's a loving marriage right there. All right, so you're going to come back up here. I think this one's going to, yeah, this one's got a little bit of edge too. All right. So obviously the pencil marks, you can't, actually, you know what? You can't even see them. But look at that. We made this today. Now, look, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. All right, so if you have to make a star now because you don't have any, you know how to do it now. All right, I'm just going to get the Victory Store yellow so that you can see for yourself, or for a star just in general. All right, so that you can see how professional they do look. I'm going to get a little bit closer. So here's Victory Store, Rennick Morris. All right. This has got more of a gloss. This has less of a gloss. But guys, it's pretty close, man. It's pretty close. All right. So I don't know who's been watching the videos, but thank you. Seriously, thank you very much. I'll be honest with you, I love doing it, and I'll keep doing it. All right, so this will be part 2. Tell your friends about the Sign Fairies channel, as my son would say. Like, subscribe, make a comment. I don't really care if you do or you don't, but that's what they're supposed to say. So that's it. I'll tell you, all in all in during this whole project, from cutting to spraying to taping to pulling it off, you're probably looking 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And if you haven't done this before, budget 2 hours. You know what I mean? Now I got to make letters because Bella, who I don't have letters for or a happy birthday for, has a happy birthday that we couldn't help. So now we're going to make letters. All right. I know this has gone a lot longer than it need to, but that's all I got. Make it a great day.